Hello and welcome to BharatShakti.in. I'm Nitin Gokhale. I'm speaking to you from Kazan in Russia, where in less than 24 hours, the 16th BRICS summit of leaders is going to start, and where expectations are that there will be two major bilaterals that will happen, which will give the disputes between India and China and the war between Russia and Ukraine might find a solution, or at least half a step forward through the efforts of the leaders like President Putin, on one hand, the Russian President Putin, and of course, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who is mediating between Ukraine and Russia, trying to play peacemaker, and a bilateral between Prime Minister Modi and Xi Jinping, China's president, is likely to be the highlight of the BRICS summit. Of course, a major point of the BRICS summit in Kazan is the joining of five new members from Middle East and Africa, Egypt and Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, UAE, all going to be the new members of BRICS in the expanded scheme of things in BRICS. But today, even in BRICS, the major talking point, like in India, was the announcement by India's Ministry of External Affairs that a disengagement process has been completed in the disputed areas along the line of actual control in Ladakh, especially two major friction points that were proving to be thorny, which were proving to be kind of an obstacle for any normalization of India-China border management posture. And India's big ask for nearly 4 years now has been that restoration of patrolling rights and restoration of the situation along the border that existed pre May 2020. And going by a cryptic announcement by the Ministry of External Affairs, especially Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri, which was later elaborated a bit by External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar in a television interview, it seems that a good negotiation has been carried out between the two sides, by the two sides, in fact, and a solution satisfactory to both sides has been found. So, for instance, we still don't have too many details. The details are sketchy at the moment. But what I'm picking up sitting here in Kazan, if one has to look at the nitty gritty of the likely solution to those thorny friction points, Depsang and Depchok, are the issue of probably allowing Indian patrols to go up to their patrolling points 10, 11, and 12, which were being denied by China. And India, in turn, allowing Chinese patrols to come up to a village called Butse, or a point called Butse, which was also being denied to the Chinese by India at a place called Y Junction or Bottleneck, where there was a standoff. And that was proving to be very tricky and naughty to be not resolved. But that seems to have been resolved. Similar thing in south of eastern Ladakh, Demchok, which was proving to be a big obstacle, seems to have been resolved. I think Indian patrols will be able to go to the areas that they were able to go before May 2020, according to all indications. And whoever I've spoken to or managed to speak to from Kazan during my entire day's travel from Delhi to Moscow and Moscow to Kazan is that it's a win-win situation from both sides, which sets the stage for Prime Minister Modi and President Xi Jinping to meet either as a pull aside from the main summit of BRICS, or do a proper structured bilateral meeting, which will then take forward the breakthrough that has apparently happened on the border negotiations. Of course, this was a combined negotiation team of military leaders as well as diplomats from the Indian side and similarly from the Chinese side. This has been going on for a long time, as you are aware. But there were indications, I must say, and if you look at my X timeline or Twitter timeline, I've been saying this, that there is a concerted move on both sides, especially on the Chinese side, to find a solution where the overall relationship can go back to normal. And to go back to normal in the overall relationship, India's big ask, as all of you know, was that the status quo ante as it existed before May 2020 must be restored on the line of actual control, which seems to have happened. Again, I am underlining this. We still don't have full facts or full details of how this will be done. Some suggestions had come earlier where they had said that pre-information exchange of petrol timetables could be exchanged by the two sides when the patrols go. The size of the patrols could be limited to less than 20, so that there is no large force there. That's going forward. And to restore the status quo, there is this issue which India wanted, that disengagement must take place, followed by de-escalation, which means remove the large number of troops ranged against each other at the LAC, gradually by and by, and finally de-induct all the large forces or additional forces that Chinese had brought in from Tibet and Xinjiang into Aksai Chin and along the line of actual control, which even India will do simultaneously. That is those are the next steps, probably the 3D formula India has been insisting upon. But at the moment, this seems to have happened. And so, if one understands the language that MEA has used and Dr. Jaishankar has used, then Indian petrols, for instance, can go up to the figure 8 occasionally, as it used to go once in a month or twice in a month. And similarly, Chinese petrols could come up to figure 4, if not 3. So again, by giving advance information to the other side, so that there are no clashes that can take place or there is no face off. And this seems to be the understanding at the moment. I will wait for more details, but I thought I'll update you on what seems to be a major step forward in resolving or breaking the impasse between India and China, especially on the military side. And from here on, what happens, one doesn't really know as far as other aspects of the relationship are concerned. But Chinese are very keen for their own reasons. Their economy is not doing too well. They have problems of a pushback from the Europeans and the Americans. And of course, Indian market, the size of Indian market being as large as it is, being important to the Chinese in terms of sustaining its export-led economy. Therefore, several factors play into it. India also is dependent on China for some of the inputs, critical minerals, as well as APIs and other aspects of India's businesses. And so, therefore, this has taken almost 4 years now to come to this stage. Too early to be euphoric, too early to be elated, but at least a beginning has been made where two sides are talking. And tomorrow or day after, if President Xi Jinping and Prime Minister Modi put a stamp to this agreement and then ask their senior interlocutors, probably National Security Advisor Ajit Doval as the special representative, to resume the special representative's dialogue and then take more confidence building measures. One doesn't know where this is going to lead, but at least it's a good beginning. That's all I have from Kazan at the moment. I'll bring you updates as and when they happen on Tuesday and Wednesday. For the time being, that's all I have. Goodbye.